one. Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. I'm with obviously Mr. Wolfie, and this is just general share advice and not personal. Wolf, I just saw the news. The Wagner boss, his plane crashed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was
Surprise.
surprise. Yeah, I'm very, very surprised. I think the whole world's surprised.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
I mean, look, the less said the better. We know what sort of state Russia is, right? That's it. That's all you need to say.
Anyway,
Don't say a bad word about Russia, Dave, because you could.
No, I like Putin. We love you, Putin. We don't just be nice to us. All right, now, okay. Let's talk about some stocks. TLX.
Yes.
Wolf, this was your favorite one that announced today.
It is.
Okay, the chart is looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, tell us about TLX.
I think TLX, and I know somebody asked me. Remember, somebody asked us on Tuesday, "Are you comfortable? How comfortable, confident are you with the TLX report?" And I said, "I'm very comfortable because they pre-released the report. They should be pretty strong, and I'm backing this." They released pretty much exactly what they said they're going to release. Then when you put everything, all those quarterlies together, it looks even more impressive, Dave, on paper, with over 200 million in revenues, a small loss, mind you, right, which is nice. And the best thing about it is they're obviously going to grow a little bit more next year with this just Illuccix, but they've got 2 new products coming online in FY24. What's the possibility of this? That's what I love about it. I've got no idea, but it's going to be big, Dave. So I'm open-ended on this. I'm happy to buy this on this beautiful result and take it back to that $12.
All right. I mean, we are trading anyway, so.
If you don't, I think this is, again, you can go again if you've taken profits. If you don't have it, opportunity on this result.
All right, absolutely. Absolutely love the chart as well, Wolf. It looks very, very good. EGL, just holding in there. It's got to be the most boring movement of any stock I've seen for a while, Wolf. When this has a breakout, I'll tell you what, it'll have a good move up, because the longer this just hovers sideways, the more that coil is getting tighter and tighter, and it could really spring up to the upside, but it just needs to do that.
Yeah, look, the results were decent, right? It's the bottom line is we just needed to do a little bit more, and it is very, very small margins here we're talking about, right? So all the top line was pretty nice growth. They gave us an outlook of another 30% growth in 2024. So everything looks decent. It's just the bottom line needs to just show a little bit more, because it's still trading on about 17 times, 18 times. So it's not cheap. So maybe this year, Dave, maybe this is the year.
All right. Let's have a look at VEE, because this one had a lovely move up the other day. I think we had a look at it, trading about 22 times, Wolfie. Yep. It's it did trend in the past absolutely beautifully. Whether it's going to have that sort of move on these times, I just don't know. But I wouldn't be buying this one till I've seen how it settles anyway by the end of the week, right? But a good report nonetheless.
Yeah, it was, and it's a pretty interesting business because it's in the propellers. This is nautic type business, propellers, ballast, buoyancy company, which had a pretty poor 2023, as you can see. So 2022, as you can see, right? They looks like they've had a much better year this year. Released some really strong numbers, and they're talking growth ahead, right? For me, it's not going to be an easy business to follow, because from one year to the next, it could be up and down. And 1 year you've got the oligarchs from Russia building new boats, and next year they're all sanctioned, right? So you just never know what's going to happen with this business. But they're on an up at the moment, so you can see this maybe have a little bit more in it. However, it's only trading for me. I have to say, I'm not comfortable with the business overall at this stage. So just trading, but interesting nonetheless.
All right, Pete, let's talk about Lovisa, because it's been below trend. And
Mhm.
this is why it's really important. You always have to obviously wait to the end of the week and what we preach. And at the moment, that announcement wasn't good enough to get it back over trend.
Mhm.
What do you think of Levis? That's maybe that's the buy, but I don't know about Levisa if it's sorry, I just brought the nice photograph, I've got to say, but what it just needs to obviously the roll up is working for it, but I think the first 5 weeks of 2024 sales are down, Wolf. That's a reflection on maybe the world economy.
I think that's exactly right. That's a reflection of the economy. So you can't blame them. It's just the fact that retail sales for most businesses are down, right? There's only very, very few that are actually start off for the year is actually better than the previous, right, corresponding period. But, the rollout business, while it looks good on paper, it still can suffer, as you can see, right? It doesn't matter if you roll out another 100 stores, but if your like-for-like sales are going backwards, you're not going anywhere with this. That's why the market's pushing down. I think it's the outlook, nothing else. So from that point of view, Dave, I think you've got to respect the chart. Not yet, too early.
Yeah, I mean, it's still got growth. It's still got revenue growth, hasn't it?
Oh, that's because they're rolling out new stores. So you're just basically opening a new store, adding revenue, but you're actually losing.
Yeah.
It's in good times you can probably make profit and it adds, and right now, unfortunately, the retail space is difficult. So they're rolling out the stores and adding more revenues, like you can see the top line, but they're actually going backwards in sales.
I suppose, in some ways, when you look at that 78 new stores they put into USA, yeah, maybe not going down as well as it should do.
Dave, I think the jury has to be out. We can't make a judgment. We have pretty poor retail conditions right now. So let's see how they go when things are looking better, when maybe the world started to get back to some sort of normality.
Yeah, but net profit, Wolf, is up, right?
Yep.
Right. So just it is got growth and is more profitable. So it's not the end of the day, but mate, below the trend line, we're not interested.
Absolutely. It's just, the reflection there, the outlook just says it all. 6% backwards from the previous corresponding period on like-for-like sales, which means the retail sales are tough.
Wolf, at Stockland though, coming up with a good announcement. They're, they don't really care, do they? They just pick up the rent.
Yeah, but you got to have the right properties for the rent, right? So at least SGP is doing a good job with that. They've got the right properties, because we've seen some other ones, they're not going that well because it's just depending what you've got in your portfolio. So SGP is probably definitely one of the better property players in Australia. So if you're in this for a trade or a dividend play, whatever, it seems still like it's holding nice pattern. But for me overall, would I be looking at this as my buy or a hold? Probably not. And, there's so much better things right now to play with.
Yeah, it's only a dividend stock, really, isn't it?
Exactly. Exactly. That's all you're going to be doing at this moment in time.
And I think it's a nice little 6% div. That's it, really. QUB, Wolf. It's the chart isn't looking brilliant, but maybe I could look at this one on a monthly, see if it gives it a little bit more.
Look, Dave, I had a quick look at this one. A good company. I like the company. It's just missing expectations, missing that good outlook that maybe the investors are looking. So for now, we're just not interested in this. But it's just to go through some of these bigger stories just to see where they're at. Not this one.
It's just a hard slog, this company, isn't it? Look at the way it moves.
Yeah,
IGL, Wolfie, again, another dividend paying stock. It's I suppose you could put this on a monthly, really, and at the moment it's holding that sort of what do you say, dividend trend line. I think under $2 you'd get out of it, but
disappointing result today, I have to say. I was expecting a bit more. What failed for them is Ovato, the acquisition that they did. They had much greater expectations for FY23. They've revised the figures today so lower figures for Ovato, which means that they didn't quite hit the numbers that they needed to hit, and the outlook for next year is going to be fairly flat, Dave. So, from that point of view, great dividend story, because if it's flat, you're probably going to get a good dividend out of it, right? But we want to buy stories for the long term for the growth. So for me, if you're in this for growth, no. If you're in it for the dividend, yes. Like you said, Dave, $2 is your last line of defense. But yeah, a little bit disappointing. You can see the market reaction in there. Fair enough.
And again, I suppose the other model I got, which is Lasoo, which is the online retailer, again, it's just a tough space at the moment, full stop.
It is, and they've updated that as well, saying that they're going to lose another 4 million next year. Whether they're going to update us in FY24, like a full comprehensive update for Lasoo. But it's a drag on earnings, Lasoo at the moment, because they're trying to build this business out, right? It's growing, yes, but it's still unprofitable.
It's a long way before it can be the next Kogan, that's for sure.
Very much so.
ALC, Wolf. Mm-hmm. It just struggles, doesn't it?
Struggle Street, isn't it? Look, a decent result. And then again, it was all flagged pretty much with the quarterlies that they provide for us. Unprofitable, unfortunately, on 40 million in revenues. You'd expect slightly better than that, right? Hopefully FY24 will be better. And if it is, I'd gather it would be over that blue line. So let's see how it goes. At the moment, you wouldn't touch it. On these results, you still wouldn't get excited. Unfortunately, you've got to find something else to play with. I'm
just very impressed, though. One thing I was impressed with ALC, they extended a contract with one of the hospitals in England, and that hospital was in Wolverhampton. Yeah,
there you go, Dave. Obviously,
there you go.
A lot of people with probably knife wounds.
Yeah, well, mate, it's fancy. It's a busy ward, definitely. Qantas, record profits. Wolf, everyone.
Of course, because they're bloody charging like $4,000 for a price ticket to Europe. No surprise there.
But is it sustainable? And I think the market's sort of treating it like that, aren't they? They're saying,
you can see what's happening here, right? They're going, Qantas, you got away with it during the COVID period, right? No, you're not going to go with it for too much longer. Now,
but I don't know. But are they going to be putting the prices back down? I mean, why we're still happy to pay these ridiculous prices? Are the prices going to come down? I
reckon what's going to happen is probably the government's going to say, do something about this. Yeah. The government likes to intervene when they can see rorting going on.
Have Qantas paid back the government for all the?
It's a good question. I'm not sure whether they did or not. I know Qantas was first to pocket it all, weren't they?
All right, MAQ. Mm-hmm. So, Wolf, they're struggling to get over 70, but one they announced yesterday, and you were reasonably content with this one.
I was, because the numbers are okay, but you can see throughout the day, there's a bit more selling coming through. So for me, disappointing overall, because I'm expecting more growth out of it. So the growth was, in a low teens. So there just wasn't enough for me. For a business that's trading on ridiculous multiples, and I'll tell you what they're trading on because I had a quick look. Let me just see if I can find it here on my list. MAQ, or didn't I write it down? Probably the one I didn't write down. But anyway, it was yeah, I got it here. It was actually reported yesterday. So just give me 1 second. I'll just work this out for you. So 65.31, and they've come up with 81 cents. So it's still trading on 80 times. They've on what 15% growth, 80 times. Come on, give me a break. They need to come up with a bit more than that.
All right.
But down she goes. And look, if you're in this as a trade for some reason, that trade is, I think, probably done and dusted.
TRS. Mm-hmm. Now that, again, I'll tell you what, I'm not saying it, but I picked it up Einstein's absolutely beautifully, and I'm thinking, really? And bang.
Yeah, there you go. I have to say, it's been very, very good improvement on the bottom line. So, the reject shop, when you think about it, we talked about it before, it's not a quality story, but, in an environment where you've got cost of living prices, maybe this is the story to have a look at. But let me just have a look and to see what they're actually trading on, because I'm always interested in the numbers and what the market's prepared to pay. So I've got the numbers in front of me. So it's trading on right now on these numbers at 22 times. Is it cheap? No. Is it tradable? Yes. So again, if you're going to be doing it, Dave, I think you've got to really be careful and set a pretty tight stop.
Yeah, you do. I think the easy money's gone. I think the easy money, Einstein's picked it really.
I agree.
And that's actually near the end of it. You know, it might do a little bit more, but you're near an end of a cycle of an exhaustion pattern there. So
Yep.
maybe, you know, it's a dangerous one. The time to buy that was there, right?
Yep. Or the next one, right?
Yeah.
You have a couple of weeks of opportunity to buy this.
All right, let's have a look at SOC, because this is a little bit too early for me to give an opinion on the charts, Wolf. But fundamentally far away.
Yeah, look, it looks like a decent result today. Even though they've beaten the, I think, prospectus forecast, it was a slightly gone backwards this year with profit. But overall, decent business in the same space as COS, in the same space as DTL and CNW. So, you know, these businesses, if they play it right, if they execute well, they're going to do okay, because we can see the DTL's trajectory, right, over a period of 10 years. You can do it very, very well. Now, COS yesterday, by the way, Dave, because you were obviously with me yesterday, I talked about COS with their release. That was a very good, very, very, very good result. So, you know, I talked about that was probably one of my favorites yesterday. So from that point of view, there's something to like about this space still, right? So even though, you know, it hasn't done much yesterday, it's still decent. And, you know, maybe there's a little buy signal actually building by Friday. But anyway, this space is okay, but it's lightly traded. That's my only issue here. So if, as an investor, I don't think you can set yourself with a big parcel.
All right. Now, Medibank private. Look at that. That's up and down like a yo-yo, isn't it?
That's just crazy. It's just crazy what's happening with this. Yeah. So look, okay, again, pretty good results. In a sort of similar vein to NHF, which is the NAB Health. So both okay. Both still a hold if you like the story. For me, there's better things to play with than NPL, to be honest. You know, after that big breach that they had with cybersecurity, I've got better stories to play with for sure. I mean, I've got 360s, I've got TLXs to play with. This is definitely not on my radar.
All right, and lastly but not least, Wolf, DTC not quite profitable yet. I mean, we talked about this chart just needed to do more. It's not the right time to get into that one. You and I obviously stay away from
another Lovisa type. This is a rollout story. This is another Lovisa, but in clothes, right? Another rollout story. Very similar results. Very similar results. Going backwards 5% versus 6% for Lovisa. So you can see it's not easy for the retailers. And I'm not going to bash any retailer as in brand name, Dave, even though obviously I don't like Lovisa because I don't know anything about jewelry. It doesn't matter. It's just overall picture. It just doesn't look great at the moment. So it's just difficult to get excited about this space.
All right.
Now, there's a few more. There's a few more days I'm quickly going to go through. So I know you've missed out a couple. PLY, first of all. And we'll talk about RDN at the end, if I can, please.
PLY. Yep.
So for me, that was a good result. Grew about 100% revenue-wise. I think they're talking about growing 30 to 40% in FY24. So remember, I'm looking for really strong growth stories, but they need to hold trend. If they don't, they get cut. So still one day to go. Hopefully holds at 46 cents. Otherwise, it's done and dusted. BRI, I know we traded sometimes that one a few times over and over. So let's have a quick look at BRI, which you've got there as well. So this is okay result. However, it just wasn't strong enough. I think the problem is slowdown, significant slowdown from the previous year where, you know, they had a really buoyant year. This year wasn't so great, had some delays. So I think it's going back to trend. So just a dividend stock again, like AGL in a way. And last one is talk about David's RDN. I know you want to quickly talk about, because this is the classic case of just riding someone's coattails. Simple as that. I mean, ridiculous. The announcement today or yesterday was, with neurology next to Andover, right? We've picked up 3 rocks, and they weren't even that good, Dave. And they had, kilometers and kilometers, and they only found 3 rocks with lithium in it. I mean, holy moly. I hope they can drill and show something better, because I tell you what, I'm scared for investors in there. And I know they said, 30 meter outcrop. Yeah, I know. Look, there is a lot of outcropping pegmatites around Australia. Everywhere in the world, there's a lot of outcropping of pegmatites. It's one of the most common mineral type situations that actually happens, right? It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean there's going to be spodumene. It doesn't mean there's going to be lithium in there. But let's just have a look what it actually happens. I tell you what, I know what's coming next, Dave. A capital raising. We'll just see. So anyone's in this RDN, and if you doubled your money, I'll leave it to you what to do.
And just too dangerous to trade, really. That's what we're saying.
But Dave, I've just put a pretty bleak picture, and I've been very negative because I've seen all these things before, saying that FOMO is a very strong beast, and he can double, triple, quadruple for here, and I won't be surprised, because FOMOs will probably suck in all the, mums and dads in there, and then spit them out very quickly.
Well, you're most probably saying it's that dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You just play it on a 1 minute chart. You don't take your eyes off the screen.
Correct.
And if it goes under 23, you sell it, right? I mean,
correct.
Because like you said, this could have one bad announcement. They do a capital raise, and
not even a bad announcement. It can just collapse because of the FOMOs in Reddit or Telegram going, guys, it's time to sell before everyone else knows. Gone, done, right? And then you go to the toilet for 5 minutes and it's down at 1.5 cents.
Well, just one stock yesterday, 4DS.
Yep.
Had a massive jump up 100% on a new type of a chip, or not a new type. I'll bring it up here. It's a memory. It's like a little memory chip, and it's had some megabyte success now. It says it successfully incorporated ReRAM memory cells into the iMEC megabyte array. What the hell does that mean?
Good question. And I reckon you ask 99% of the holders, and they've got probably no idea.
All right, but
saying that, it's done remarkably well, Dave. So, if I'm obviously trading this, if I bought it on last week's, because that's not a bad, jump last week. If you bought it on that, again, you know what to do here. They probably could be at a capital raising as well on this sort of jump. And does that mean commercialization? No, it doesn't. It just means another step in the technology that just demonstrated. So I don't understand it, to be honest. I never trade these sort of things that really just beyond my head. I don't have any financials. But anyone in there, well done to you. But protect yourself. Lock in some of these profits using the charts. Otherwise, you don't want to see it back to 6 cents and you go, why haven't I sold? 2 more things, please, Dave, before I go. And I know I've got on and on, is how crazy this market is. So 2 examples. Let's go with, first of all, DTL and then ARB, how really amateurish the market potentially is, right? So we've seen that huge falls on that announcement. I told you there was an overkill and overreaction on that announcement. Obviously missed expectations, but holy moly, I mean, down 20% on what? Missing a couple of percent expectations. I mean, you've got to have rocks in your head, right, to really go down and sell it so heavily. So that, there you go, bounce. But the most remarkable one, which I talked about, is ARB, right? Have a look at it now. It's actually looking bullish. And you're going, oh, nah. It's now in the green after a week of going down to $29 and below. I mean, this market has just got no idea.
But we've seen this with stock after stock, haven't we?
I know. How quickly it is volatile, how reactive the market is. There is just amateurs trading this, absolute amateurs. And sometimes you've got to take a step back and go, wait,
Yeah.
We'll call it how we see it. I mean, the thing is, we've got, I'm a fundamental analyst. We've got Claude fundamentals. We'll look at it. If we don't like it, we'll call it, right? That we don't like it, get out of it. But some of these, like, ARB, yeah, it looked good. It was just an overreaction. DTL, okay, overreaction. And there you go, bouncing back up again. It's just crazy. This market is absolutely bonkers.
All right, listen, Wolfie, absolutely brilliant. On that note, superb. Thank you, Wolfie. Have a wonderful day. And Wolfie, we'll put TLX on as a buy, and happy days.
Yeah, absolutely.
A
Let's hope that-
disclaimer: we obviously hold that in the equity story fund, right? So, all right, thanks, Wolfie. Bye bye.
Cheers.